Hello guys, welcome back to the Beastie Room. Now we're going to have a rehouse today. The last couple we've done have been, shall we say, sensible spiders. Nice beginner variety spiders, the brackies. And we did showcase the kraken, and she was really well behaved as well. So that was really cool. So I thought, why don't we tempt fate and have a go at the Stromatopelma calceatum, or otherwise known as, I can't say that actually, no, we're not allowed to swear, otherwise known as the feather legged baboon. It's known as many names, normally depending on whereabouts on your body it happens to be residing. But yes, this is one of them spiders that gets the blood rushing on many a people. So we are going to set up, we're going to go for a 30 by 45 Exoterra, and this is an arboreal spider. So we are going to set this up, get a bit of height, and these enclosures are absolutely fantastic if you want to do a little bit of landscaping and, you know, make a bit of an exhibit. Now this particular spider would be perfectly happy in a 20 by 20 by 30, which we house many of our adult female arboreals in those, and they work out really well when we want to get them to drop sacks and things. We can really muck around with them, so they're good for the breeding aspect. These ones we use mainly for if we want to make a bit of an exhibit, or if it's a spider that we want to that needs a bit of space in pairing. Things like our metallicas, our ornatas, the Poecilotheria, they often like a little bit of space, so we often use these for those. But this one she's quite a big girl, so we're going to put her in here, but she would be quite happy in one of the smaller ones. Right, so we are going to just fill this up. I've got some of our potting compost mixed with a bit of cocoa fibre. It seems like the looking at the comments and things, our Brachypelma videos went down rather well, so we are going to try and do a couple more of those. We do tend to do a lot with things like the spicier spiders, but there's many of you out there keep many of these beginner spiders, so we will endeavour to do a bit with some of those as well. Now then, we've got a lovely, let's give that a bit of a brush, we've got a lovely nice big piece of bark here. And actually, where it's been in storage, it's a bit dusty and what have you, so we're going to put that in there. I'm going to move it up that way actually. All right. Now with the feather leg baboon, when they're young, they're actually quite prone to burrow. So although they're an arboreal spider, when they're young, as do many of the arboreal spiders, they like to burrow. So bear that in mind if you've got a small one. We'll see what we're going to, I just want to fill some of this up. So we've got some of our palms. These palms really do work out well. You get the occasional one die off, but generally speaking, they're pretty good. And they make a nice bit of coverage as well. So I'm going to just pop them in there. Don't worry, you're going to get to have a look in a minute. I can hear camera lady breathing heavy. I know that means that she's like, when am I going to get to see what's going on?
I want to see.
Yeah, you will. Honest to God, you will. All right. So I'm going to put this one in here. Let's see how this little plant. There you go, look at that. That's a little bit pot bound, that one, wasn't it? I've been told if there's lots and lots of roots and no soil left, then it's pretty pot bound. So I would say that is pretty pot bound. So I would imagine that is going to be rather happy to be out. Right, so we're going to do that there. We've got a nice bit of moss here as well. So we're going to pop that in and all. That is almost the right size. Look at that. Maybe a little bit too big. Oh, dear me, look. So close.
We don't believe you. We've got to have a look.
You've got to have a look.
Oh, actually, that is quite good.
It's almost there. So we can literally just pop that in there. And we can feed the bottom bits in. Look at that. It's almost made to measure. Oh, a bit of luck, wasn't it? Don't often happen like that. Right. So that is in there. So here we are. That's our very, very basic design at the moment. Now we've got some nice branches here. Now, one thing to bear in mind, actually, one thing worth mentioning with these branches, I've got a lovely, nice bit of oak here with some moss on it. It'd be nice to actually try and incorporate that. Quite sure how. This is the problem, you see, when you should really put your plants in after you put your branches in, because that can often make it a little bit easier. Don't matter which way I turn this, it's not looking right. Right, okay.
You need to get you a little head cam.
A little head cam.
So we can watch you doing all your brain work.
Well, watch my brain ticking away. Here we go. Look, it's starting to take a bit of shape. Now then, so what we will do now is we will put our water bowl in. Let's get my squirty thing ready. I'm not going to get caught out with this again. Right.
Need to get a Burns kit up here tonight.
A Burns kit, yeah. As you can see, the smoke steaming off of this thing. It gets very, very hot. And then we're just going to place that. Susan, stay still.
There you go.
We'll place that in there.
Alright.
That's it. Thank you very much. Right, let me just unplug that because that does get really, really hot. Now then, as we were saying, we got some branches here, and as you can see, these are got lovely, lovely lichen on them. And these are dead branches, so they're just branches we've collected up off the forest floor. And you can see all this lichen on them. This lichen, sometimes it sort of, I wouldn't say it lives. It's difficult to say whether it's alive or dead half the time, but it normally can dry out and disappear. And one of the things that we have found is things like tap water doesn't always like tap water. So if you've got pond water or something like that, that would be worth a try. Maybe give that a go and see how it reacts to that.
We could Google it, couldn't we?
Yeah. In actual fact, although I've got it all here, I don't think I'm going to use it. I think that actually...
That big chunk is there.
That actually looks nice enough, I believe,
Yeah.
on its own. So I don't think we're going to put any more in there. So I'm going to move all this stuff off. Another thing to think about, you notice all these branches here are quite small. If you're doing a small enclosure, you only need thin branches, because thick branches tend to look a bit out of place. And they don't look quite right. Oh. Right then, now for the fun part. We are almost there. So I'm going to give this a water. Give our plants a good good soaking. So remember, when you're putting your plants in, give them a good water. But think about the type of enclosure that you're actually working with, what you're using, because it will make a massive difference to how much water you can actually use when you're doing it. Now, you would have noticed when you see me doing the enclosures here, we can be really, really heavy with the water. We can put a lot of water in, and this is because our enclosures have got full mesh tops. We're in a very warm room, and it will dissipate and go in no time at all. If you've got an enclosure that is more like a plastic tub or anything like that, then it's not going to be you're not going to be able to use the amount of water that I do here. So always bear in mind, try and work out how much evaporation you get in the style enclosure that you're using, because they are all very, very different. Very, very different. Right, I'm trying to think, how am I going to do this to give me a little bit of room. We're going to put this up on here. Oh, that is okay there. That can stay there. We're going to close that door up. And what we're going to do, we are going to try, we're going to use the big lump of bark, and we are going to try and get our Feather Leg Baboon out of this box and onto here, and hopefully we can get a real good close-up look at this absolutely exquisite spider. Now, these are as we said, these are an arboreal spider. They're an old world spider. They can be very, very defensive. They can be quick to bite. They are not a spider to be messing about with. You really shouldn't play around with these guys. They can be quite the handful, and if you're not experienced with this type of spider, you know, if you were a little bit less experienced, say, I would literally take this tub and put it in here, take the lid off, and probably just let her do her own thing. I'd lock it all up, come back in the morning, and the tub would be empty. That would be your safest bet if you're at all nervous or a little bit wary of this type of spider. That being said, if you do feel like that, why on earth would you buy one? So, you know, one of the big things I always try and say to people is, you know, it's really important to learn to walk before you run. So don't be tempted into buying things that are a little bit outside of your comfort zone. Go slowly, you know, just work your way slowly. You've got all the time in the world, and the last thing you want to do is pick on a spider that is likely to terrify you and put you off forevermore. So just, you know, take your time. There's nothing big. This is one of the things we see in the hobby an awful lot, actually, with spiders like this, the maculata, the funnel webs, the dichromatus, the black fury, all of these types of spiders. There is a certain element within the hobby that buy these spiders because they think it makes them big men. It doesn't.
Or women.
Or women, yeah. It really, really doesn't. And quite a lot of them that are all, you know, big and bolshy when they spend their money end up screaming like little girls at the end of the day. So don't end up getting caught out with that, you know. Just take your time. There's nothing big about it. So what we're going to do, we are going to put this here, and we are going to use the lid to hopefully move her onto the log. Now, all being well, we'll see how she behaves. We don't know what kind of temperament she's got or what she's going to do. They are extremely fast as well. So we're just going to touch her very, very gently. There you go. Now you see she's unfolding. We're going to use that unfolding to our own advantage. There we go. She's thinking that wood feels very funny. So we're just going to take our time. Let her find her feet. There we go. Just let her find her feet. And what we can do, you see, we can turn her. You see how she's slightly sideways? We don't really want that slightly sideways. We want her to get more to her own way up. There we go. As you can see, she is a beautiful, beautiful spider.
Straight for the cover of darkness.
She's gone straight for the cover of darkness, as we might well have thought. So then, where is she? Right in the middle?
She's gone to that way.
She's
near
gone
the tank.
that way. Okay, so what we do is we tilt it. Camera lady can tell us where she actually is.
She's basically sat on Lazy Susan's side.
That's cool. That's it. I've got her. Oh, I've got her. Is she good there?
Yeah.
So there we go. We can have a, I think I was throwing a shadow on her there.
You were.
We can have a real good look at her now and get to see exactly what sort of spider she is.
Are you able to
There you
put
go.
a torch on her? Do you think we'll be pushing our luck?
I think we got enough light. She is so much light on her. It's unbelievable.
I know, but it's not really showing up those beautiful colours.
Now with these have got, there we go. You can see now that they are sort of like all tans. The hairs on the legs are like a peachy red colour. And as you can see there, she's sitting relatively calm. She's stretched out. She's in that they can't see me mode. Now these guys do have the ability to literally teleport. They can move very, very fast. And these have a habit, a bit like the OBTs, where if they jump and land, quite often they will bite when they land. So we have to be very, very cautious, very careful. Notice the real big toes on the front feet there. Huge, great big toes. This is sort of letting us know that this is an arboreal spider. And you see the way she's sitting, it's very much like a pokey.
We're just on the toes.
Many arboreals will actually have this sort of pokey stance.
It's like your mum's pug,
Yeah.
Frenchie.
Yeah.
Legs out front and back.
So what we'll do is we'll give her a minute, and then we'll see what we can do with her. But as you can see there, look at the colouring on that. Very, very cryptic camouflage. So you imagine this up on a tree or anything like that. Now, that's an interesting thing actually. One of the things that with these spiders, although they are an arboreal spider, they don't live particularly high up in a tree. They'll be down in the lower regions, often just down in the undergrowth. You know, they're not a spider that lives up in the tops of trees. And many of the arboreals, although they live off the floor, they don't live meters and meters high. And she is absolutely beautiful. Watch my fingers, because my fingers are holding the log.
She's like, I've had enough of that light.
Yeah.
She's literally just sat.
Yep, she's coming up the other side. I can see her. So what we'll do is we'll take the light away.
Yep.
She's moving up to my hand now. Here she comes. As you can see now, she is literally
she's down the bottom there.
Just becoming a little bit light sensitive. So we've got the log. We just have to be very, very careful.
See a couple of legs.
Have to be very, very careful. And hopefully, as long as we keep Keep things moving in a gentle way. We won't upset her any. Now, as you notice there, we got her out of the box.
She's ready to pokey stunts.
Is she?
Yeah.
I can't see anything. So we managed to get her out of the box, and we had no threat display. So it just goes to show that, you know, although these spiders can be very, very defensive, the reason they are possibly so defensive is through, you know, fear. They feel that fear, and if you're being rather heavy-handed, or, you know, just not being patient enough with them, then they will respond in a negative way. So we need to be always aware of when we're watching these spiders, we're looking for any type of movement, anything at all that will give us a clue as to what's going to happen next.
Camera lady keeping the
Now, another thing to bear in mind here is, while we're talking, is our breath is actually, it can sort of blow on a spider. So if you're talking away, you need to be aware that your breath is not pushing like air across that spider, because that can sometimes be enough to upset them as well. So we have to think about everything. Vibration, any type of vibration, they are going to feel 100 times more so than we'll ever dream of.
And that vibration through your hand while you're talking,
that's fine, because we're at the moment, she's sitting there, she's quite calm. There's nothing, although there is a little bit of vibration within the log, it's not to a detrimental effect. It's not something that's going to frighten her. But what will change her attitude is the angle in which we move this piece of wood around.
Oh, let me come out then so we can see you actually do that. Yep.
So what we're going to do is we are going to just move this a little bit. And just be really, really careful. What I do need to do is get my phone, because we're going to... Now you see that? She just laid flat. And that was because as I let go of it, my finger just literally dragged across the bark. And she didn't like that. She was a little bit like, ooh, what was that? So you'll see now how she's hunkered down. She's gone in tight against the log. So these are all little things. She's giving little telltale signs as to how she's feeling and what she's considering doing. So we're just going to tilt her a little bit more to see if I can't get a really nice photograph.
Look at them toes while you're doing that.
These really are an absolutely exquisite spider. Now, as we said, this is not a spider for beginners. You need to be at a point in your spider keeping career. You need to be at a point where you can be nice and relaxed and not be worrying about where this spider may end up. You know, if you're at all nervous, you need to put this spider into, you know, do your rehousing or whatever in a room where you've got a little bit of space, somewhere where you can take your time. This is the key with these types of spiders, taking your time, doing it all in the right way. So what I'm going to do now, I am going to see if I can pick this log up and stand it upright and just see how she responds. So we're just going to do it really, really slow. Bearing in mind that quite often when things go upright like this, the spider automatically wants to go up. So always bear that in mind as well, because our hand is at the top when we're holding it. And she's quite calm. What I was hoping was to be able to lean this up so I could get a photograph. It's amazing, isn't it, how when we're doing this and we're trying to get photographs and trying to do other things as well. There we go. So now we can take her off of there and get a lovely picture. We can. There we go. That'll do.
Coming round to your side, Dave, for a bit of footage.
Oh, I'm going to turn around.
Okay.
So we're going to. You notice how we can use the log as a prop, and we can get away with so much. And this is a way of, like, you know, this is how we sort of like we can handle our spiders without directly handling them. You know, this is not a spider you'd want to pick up. These have a very, very strong venom, very potent, along with the maculata. They're very, very similar. So you don't want to get bitten by one of these guys. But that being said, as we've sort of demonstrated so far, that it's not bad. You know, show a little bit of respect. These guys aren't that bad. Right, shall we? I think we've got some really good close-up footage, haven't we?
I hope so, yeah.
We've got some really nice stuff. So what we're going to do now is we are going to see if we can get her in the enclosure now.
See how lovely camouflage she is on that bit of bark.
This is how this is where it could all go Pete Tong. This is the problem with a big, big lump of bark. We can't always get it right tight. So we're going to go with that. We're going to see. Just be very, very careful, very, very gentle. You notice now we've just literally made contact. We're going to ask her to go. That's it. Once we get her moving, that's ideal. Perfect. Oh, there we go. She's in. Get rid of that. You see now she is on the underside of the log.
She coming back?
Watch yourself one moment. I can get this down to here. And we can manoeuvre it. So as you can see now, what she's done is she's gone underneath the piece of branch that we got in there. And this is because it's slightly darker under there. So it makes her feel just that little bit more confident, a little bit happier. And this is exactly what we want to be seeing in our spider. We want to see a nice, relaxed spider. Now, all the time that she was on the log, she remained relaxed. And then even as you noticed, hopefully you would have seen that when we were moving her off of the log, we touched the leg with the brush. And then what we do is we literally just very, very gently just rub the leg. And then what we're looking for is when she's like that, she's sat on top of the log like that, and we're touching the leg, we're looking for the legs that, if we're touching this leg, we're looking for the legs on this side to start to move, to lift up and then move. And as soon as they start coming up, we put a little bit of pressure on and we can just gently, gently nudge her. Her legs are already looking for that next thing to sit to. So we're using all of these at the same time. If she'd gone the opposite way and had gone slightly tense, then we would have to reevaluate how we're going to do this, because if she goes like that, chances are she's thinking, I'm not happy about this, I need to get the hell out of here. So you haven't got a lot of room, especially when you're doing something like that, because we've got a big lump of cork bark in one hand and we're trying to balance it. You might have heard it squeaking on the side here, and we're trying to balance that and maneuver her at the same time. if she decided to run straight up that piece of log, the first thing she's going to meet is my hand. So we have to be really, really aware and really watch your spider. As I've said many, many times, these guys are talking to you all the time. So try and learn the signs. So what we're going to do, we're going to just try and get underneath them. We'll try and get her to come round the front here, just so we can get one last look at her. So we're going to try and get on the other side. There you go. You see how we're just so gentle with her. So all we need to do is be so gentle. There we go. Look at that. And still no threat poses. None of that crazy aggression that we often hear about with these spiders.
Now she's in there, you can see the different, like the yellows and greens.
Yeah, it's beautiful. The colouring when she's on that piece of moss is just phenomenal. Now these, as an adult, she will set up home behind that cork bark, and she will web that all up so that till she's completely secure. And then what will happen is, if we monitor her food and we're careful with her food, she will come out and she will spend her time with her legs out on the front here. And then of a night time, she'll come out and have a proper wander around. These are quite a nocturnal spider. You will see them in the daytime, but they need to feel secure. I think you'll agree, she's absolutely stunning.
She's beautiful.
The Feather Leg Baboon from West Africa. What an absolutely awesome spider. And definitely one that, if you're new into the hobby, this is something to work towards. I can't stress enough. Don't be in a rush, There's no need to be in a rush. Plenty of time to obtain spiders like these. Right, so I think food-wise, we're looking at just about anything that you can find. This girl will eat anything. And again, keep away from that feeding regime where you've got a set regime. Try and keep an eye on your spiders, watch its behaviour. If it's out and about, feed it. If it's hidden away, don't bother. Leave it, It will come out when it's hungry. In terms of humidity, these guys do like it humid. So warm and humid. So we're looking at humidity up around about 70-75% is be more than adequate for these guys. It doesn't need to be more than that. They will tolerate it more and they will enjoy it more. But you will get away with 70%, no problem at all. When we talk about humidity, we're looking at humidity in the air. Where she decides to reside needs to be kept dry. She likes to be dry, but a humid air. So we can gain that. We can get that through watering our plants. Much better way than soaking our enclosure. Right. Well, I think that is about it. If you have got one of these, let us know how you get on with yours. Tell me what you think of them. And just generally, what did you think to this spider today? Was it a spider you really liked? Or, or would you rather some of the softer spiders? Right then. Don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spider. And I'll see you all soon, guys.